Thanks so much, Mara. It's so nice to see everyone. Hanukkah Sameach. And I wanted to, actually, I should introduce our special guest who's going to be joining periodically. You want to lean in. This is my son Tal, who is 12, and he has a beautiful voice, and he's going to. We thought to include him because there are some responsive aspects of singing in Hallel. So I thought, who could I rope into this? And Tal graciously volunteered. You can, so I think that Mara, my Jewish Learning, sent out a little piece about when we recite Hallel, and it's mostly on the pilgrimage festivals, on Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot, when in ancient times people in the land of Israel would go up to the temple to bring special offerings for the holidays. We also recite it on Rosh Chodesh, on the new month. And Hanukkah is a little bit different because it's so much later than all of the other holidays. It's a post-biblical holiday, and I think it kind of invites us to. There's a very distracting flock of geese flying over my house right now. They're singing Hallel, I think. It invites us to maybe read into these Psalms of praise a little bit of what we want to. The Psalms included in Hallel are it's primarily Psalms 113 to 118, and there's a lot of different emotions encapsulated in the book of Psalms, from despair and loneliness to anger to exaltation and praise and gratitude. These Psalms are really the praisey, thanksy kinds of psalms. So they lend themselves to that. And one of the things that Mara and I were thinking about in planning this program is that perhaps one way of thinking about saying Hallel on Hanukkah is the world is dark at this time of year, and maybe everything is. Maybe you're sort of in a great place and like are inspired to sing Psalms of praise, and maybe you're in a darker place and the tradition of reciting Hallel can actually help bring you out of that place a little bit, or kind of remind you that there are always there's always something to celebrate even in the midst of darkness. So I wanted to just briefly share a source with you about kind of the human reaction to darkness. Mara, do you want to bring up that source?
Yes. So I also just shared it in the chat, but we will also have it on the screen.
Great. So this is from the Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud, tractate Avodah Zarah, which is on idolatry, which doesn't really have to do with this, but the Talmud is, like the internet, a very associative text, jumping from one thing to the next. Our rabbis taught. So that little phrase, by the way, signifies that this is the earliest layer of the Talmud, the Tannaitic layer, which wraps up around the year 200. So this is at least, basically a 2,000-year-old text that we're looking at right now. Our rabbis taught, on the day when Adam HaRishon, the first human being, was created, when the sun sank before him, he said, "Woe is me, because I have acted offensively. The world is darkening on my account and will return to tohu vavohu." This is the null and formless void from before creation. So maybe it's clearly apparent, but if it's not, right, this is someone who has never seen the world get dark before, has never seen the sunset before. And the fact that he was kind of born into a world where things were light and he could see, and then all of a sudden it's darkening, is completely terrifying to him. And not only terrifying to him, but the only explanation he can come up with is that he somehow caused it. And he adds, "This is the death that heaven has decreed for me as my punishment. Like I've kind of, like the world was just created, I was brought into it, and I'm ruining it." He sat down to fast, which is a dark place to be, right? To feel like you're responsible for the world ending, needless to say. He sat down to fast and wept throughout the night, and Eve wept beside him. When the new day dawned, he said, "Oh, such is the way of nature. Now I get it. he probably didn't know about, planets turning and things like that, but he figures out the sun is going to set at the end of every day and then rise anew at the beginning of every day once again. And he arises and offers a sacrifice in praise and thanksgiving and maybe relief as well. So part of why I like this source, which is not directly on Hanukkah, as you can see, is just that right, there's a unique circumstance with Adam HaRishon, the first human being, kind of being so confused by this darkness coming out of nowhere. But I think it just also shows a very basic human response to darkness, even if we know that the darkness isn't permanent. At this, like, there are a lot of people out there with seasonal affective disorder, whatever it is. Maybe you don't like driving home from work in the dark, or it's just, it's hard when when things get dark early. And I'm only speaking physically now, but of course, there are a lot of things to worry about in the world that feel like a source of despair and fear. So, so I think for me, this text kind of explains one reason why why it maybe can be helpful to say Hallel on Hanukkah, to kind of push us to remember to give praise and to express gratitude and to create space for celebration even amidst darkness. And I have to confess, Mara and I were talking about this before when we were planning the program a little while back. We were, we, the two of us, were reacting to, just just kind of what a downer it was that it was getting dark so early. And this week, I think we were both feeling a little cheerier because we've been lighting Hanukkah candles. So bringing light to the darkness really, really does make a difference, I think. So that's what we're doing today together in saying Hallel. We're kind of acknowledging that there is darkness in the world, physical and metaphorical, and maybe inside us as well. And we're creating space together today to celebrate, to give praise, and to feel gratitude. So we wanted to just open the chat briefly and see, folks wanted to respond to that, and even more broadly share kind of what brought you here today. What are you looking for? Where are you holding emotionally, and what the text evoked for you? And that will just kind of help set our emotional stage as we begin Hallel in a moment. I'm just going to put into the chat as well the My Jewish Learning article that had been sent out that can answer some of the technical questions about Hallel. I really appreciate Nikit's comment. The holidays can be an emotionally difficult time for a lot of people, right? Under the best of circumstances, one is surrounded by loved ones and celebrating, and certainly that's in many, many, many cases not the case, and holidays can evoke a sense of loss and absence as well. Pamela says, I feel we need to remind ourselves in the darkness, seen and unseen, that God is still with us. Hoping the energy of coming together will bring stronger light to each of us. Elaine says, thank you. Anne wrote, grateful to grateful for connecting to Judaism as a spiritual resource this past year. And I think, Anne, you're speaking for so many people that really since October 7th, there's been this kind of resurgence in wanting to, on part of a lot of people, to learn, to do Jewish learning, to connect Jewishly, to strengthen Jewish identity. It's kind of that tragic and fearful situation has brought out a desire to connect with each other and with our Judaism. So we obviously wish that had never happened, but to the extent that people have responded to that by wanting to be together and learn, that's a good thing. All right, so many great comments here. How do you rise above that sense of loss and darkness when holidays are not surrounded by friends and family because they're no longer with us on this earth? I wish I had an answer for that, Irene. I think, again, under the best of circumstances, we have people, younger generations that we can, with whom we can share the memory of those who are no longer here. I know that's definitely what I tried to do, but there isn't always that either. And sometimes we just need to acknowledge the pain of the loss and the absence. So thank you for raising it. Barbara, thank you for sharing with us the personal dark space that you're in. And I really hope that Hanukkah will bring you the sense of healing that you're looking for. All right, so there's so many beautiful comments. I'm going to, folks should feel free to continue looking at them, and I'm going to read all of them in more detail afterwards. But why don't we go ahead on these beautiful notes that you've all shared and begin Hallel. And since it's technically obligatory according to Jewish law to recite Hallel on the appointed days, we begin with a bracha, a blessing that kind of names this as a commandment that we are fulfilling. So I'll chant that blessing together, and then we'll go ahead and starting with the first psalm, and Tal, you'll chime in on the responsive parts, and any other parts you want to, feel free to chime in. And of course, all of you, Mara has, we'll do some parts in English here and there, as she said, but anything that we're singing together in Hebrew, I believe Mara has transliterated, and you should all feel free, hopefully moved to sing wherever you are. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et Hallel. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Avdei Adonai. Hallelujah, Shem Adonai. Yehi Shem Adonai mevorach. Me'ata ve'ad olam. Mimizrach shemesh ad midbar. Mehulal Shem Adonai. Ramal kokoim Adonai, al hashamayim kivodo. Mikadonai Eloheinu, hamagbil hashavet. Hamashpili lirot, bashamayim uvaretz. Mekimi me'afardal, me'ashpot yarim evyon. Leo shivim nedivim, im nedivei amo. Moshivi akeret habayit, em abanim semecha. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. בית ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז. הייתה יהודה לקודשו, ישראל ממשלותיו. הים רעב וינוס, הירדן ייסוב לאחור. ההרים רקדו חיילים, גבעות כבני צאן. מלך הים כי תענוס, הירדן תיסוב לאחור. ההרים תרקדו חיילים, גבעות כבני צאן. מלפני אדון חולי ארץ, מלפני אלוהי יעקב, ההופכי הצור, אגם מים, חלמיש, למים מים.
Thank you. And I'm going to share the Yasher Koach from the chat to you, Tal. So, and of course, you, Rabbi Endelman. But okay, so we are now at the point where we would love to have a reader in English. So if you feel called, please raise your hand, and we would love to bring your voice into our space. Okay, Deborah. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you. Am I reading Psalm 115?
Yes.
Okay. Not to us, but rather to your name, give glory for your kindness and for your truth. Why should the nations say, where is their God? But our God is in the heavens. All that he wanted, he has done. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have a mouth, but do not speak. They have eyes, but do not see. They have ears, but do not hear. They have a nose, but do not smell. Hands, but they do not feel. Feet, but do not walk. They do not make a peep from their throat. Like them will be their makers, all those that trust in them. Israel, trust in the Lord. Their help and shield is he. House of Aharon, trust in the Lord. Their help and shield is he. Those that fear the Lord, trust in the Lord. Their help and shield is he.
Thank you for that beautiful reading. I'm just going to do the last few lines in Hebrew. Yisrael betach b'Adonai, Ezra maginam hu, Beit Aaron bitchu b'Adonai, Ezra maginam hu, Yirei Adonai bitchu b'Adonai, Ezra maginam hu, Adonai zecharanu yevarech, yevarech et Beit Yisrael, yevarech et Beit Aaron, yevarech Yirei Adonai. הקטנים עם הגדולים, יוסף אדוני עליכם, עליכם ועל בניכם, ברוכים אתם לאדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ, השמיים שמיים לאדוני, והארץ נתן לבני אדם, לא המתים יהללויה, ולא כל יורדי דומה, ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם, הללויה.
Thank you. And in just a moment, I'm going to share a recording of Psalm 116. When we were planning this program, we thought it would be nice to bring in other voices. I, for one, am a little saddened to not hear Rabbi and Tal, but alas, we will share.
Nara, we have the first part of, we one more bit before that. In
Oh,
English.
okay. Apologies. Ah,
There.
you are right.
That's for another English reader, as Mary said, if someone feels called to read for us.
Deborah is always a reliable reader, and I don't know if your hand is up from the first time, but it would be great to have someone read. Thank you, Cantor Mark.
I love the Lord, for he hears my voice, my pleas. For he turns his ear to me whenever I call. The bonds of death encompassed me. The torments of Sheol overtook me. I came upon trouble and sorrow, and I invoked the name of the Lord. O Lord, save my life. The Lord is gracious and beneficent. Our God is compassionate. Lord protects the simple. I was brought low, and he saved me. Be at rest once again, O my soul, for the Lord has been good to you. You have delivered me from death, my eyes from tears, my feet from stumbling. I shall walk before the Lord in the lands of the living. I trust in the Lord. Out of great suffering I spoke and said rashly, all men are false.
Thank you. Rabbi, do we want to pause for a reflection and see if anyone has any thoughts on this text before we move to our recording?
Sure.
Great.
Yeah, this psalm is definitely a little bit different. This section of the psalm is a little bit different in vibe. Maybe this picks up on some of what folks were sharing in the opening. Hard personal times.
I wasn't sure if anyone thought anything about trust, which was one theme that I don't know if we were able to speak to before, but I think this psalm certainly touches on.
Yeah, this is an emotionally complex set of verses. They're, kind of feeling like you can't count on others. That's what comes in at the end. But that you can count on God. We all have different theologies, but hopefully that is a comfort to at least some people in times of tears and loss.
Okay, and when we don't know what to say, music can be helpful. So we can move on to our next piece here. Is there anything you'd like to say about it before I play the recording?
Yeah, maybe just scroll up to the English for a sec so people can see. This is really about kind of being inspired to be in service to God, sorry, Mary, can you just bring the English up so
oh,
sorry, just so people can see what I'm talking about. Kind of identifying, kind of feeling God's bounty and wanting to kind of proclaim God's godliness, make a toast to God, and even more than that, kind of dedicate oneself as a servant to God. It's this this middle line here is especially beautiful in the Hebrew. I'm your servant, the son of your maidservant. You've undone the cords that bound me. You'll hear that's kind of a high point in the music, and I'm just inspired to bring offerings of gratitude and dedication in response. So it's sort of a more like a serious and emotionally deep expression of praise and gratitude than some of the lovely, hallelujahs. The whole world is rejoicing in God. So this melody by Mordechai Ben David, I think expresses those emotions well. Thanks, Mira.
Thank you. Thank you. And our limited Zoom capabilities mean that I'm not able to share sound and the text at the same time. So I will again invite folks to open the sources as I share this recording, and we can sort of still stay in this Zoom space together as we hear.
I'm glad to see that at least some people like that. I find that one very moving as well. All right, so Yeah, we're still hearing your. All right. So we're going to continue now with Psalm 117. And I've been doing kind of a blend of more traditional and slightly less traditional melodies, and we'll do some Hanukkah melodies in here too. So hopefully everyone will get a little bit of something they like. Hallelujah, et Adonai, kol goyim shabchu, shabchu, kol umim, yikavar aleinu chasdo, be'emet Adonai, le'olam hallelujah. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasdo.
Hodu Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasdo.
Yomar na Yisrael ki le'olam chasdo.
Hodu Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasdo.
Yomru na v'taron ki le'olam chasdo.
Hodu Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasdo.
Yomru na yirei Adonai ki le'olam chasdo.
Hodu Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasdo.
Thank you, Tal. And everyone, I should have said it, that Tal is doing the responsive part, meaning all of you. We hope you're singing along at home as well. So the next section of this this long Psalm 118, we'd love to have someone do in English.
Thank you, Barbara. We lost you, Barbara. Oh,
Okay.
Whatever.
Psalm
Okay, great.
118. In distress, I called on the Lord. The Lord answered me and brought me relief. The Lord is on my side. I have no fear. What can man do to me? With the Lord on my side as my helper, I will see the downfall of my foes. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in mortals. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in the great. All nations have beset me. By the name of the Lord, I will surely cut them down. They beset me. They surround me. By the name of the Lord, I will surely cut them down. They have beset me like bees. They shall be extinguished like burning thorns. By the name of the Lord, I will surely cut them down. You pressed me hard. I nearly fell, but the Lord helped me. The Lord is my strength and might. He has become my deliverance.
Thank you so much, Barbara.
Ozi vezimrat ya, vayili lishua. Ozi vezimrat ya, vayili lishua. Ozi vezimrat ya, vayili lishua. And we'd love to have this next section read in English as well. The English readers have been amazing, so evocative of the text.
Ayala, we'd love to hear you.
The tents of the victorious resound with joyous shouts of deliverance. The right hand of the Lord is triumphant. The right hand of the Lord is exalted. The right hand of the Lord is triumphant. I shall not die but live and proclaim the works of the Lord. The Lord punished me severely but did not hand me over to death.
יפתחו לי שערי צדק, אבוא ועמודיה. יפתחו לי שערי צדק, אבוא ועמודיה. זה אשר לאדוני צדיקים יבואו בו. זה אשר לאדוני צדיקים יבואו בו. Another Hanukkah melody for us. עודך כי עניתני ותהי לי לישועה. עודך כי עניתני ותהי לי לישועה. אבן משוע הבונים הייתה לראש פינה. אבן משוע הבונים הייתה לראש פינה. מאת אדוני הייתה זאת, היא נפלאת בינינו. מאת אדוני הייתה זאת, היא נפלאת בינינו. זה היום עשה אדוני, נגילה ונשמחה בו. זה היום עשה אדוני, נגילה ונשמחה בו. Here's another responsive part. We'll sing to another Hanukkah melody, so you should all feel free to join in with Ta. Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hatzlichana.
Ana Adonai Hatzlichana.
Ana Adonai Hatzlichana.
Ana Adonai Hatzlichana.
Nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. That was a little gift for classical music lovers out there, both a Hanukkah melody and a major choral work. All right, we'll just keep singing here. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai, berachnuchem mibeit Adonai. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai, berachnuchem mibeit Adonai. Ehel Adonai v'yair lanu, Yisru chag ba'avotim ad karnot hamizbeach. Ehel Adonai v'yair lanu, Yisru chag ba'avotim ad karnot hamizbeach. Eliata ve'odeka Elohai romemeka. Eli ata ve'odeka. Elohai romemeka. Hodu Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chaso. Hodu Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chaso. So now we'll just do the last bit of closing liturgy that parallels our opening blessing. And I'll read it in English so we can kind of all experience it together. May all your creations praise you, Adonai, our God, the faithful, the righteous who do your will, and all your people, the house of Israel, shall in joyous song thank, praise, glorify, exalt, extol, revere, sanctify, and celebrate your name, our sovereign. It is good to offer you thanks, fitting to sing praises to your name, for you are God from the beginning to the end of time. Praised are you, God, sovereign. Praised are you, God, sovereign, celebrated through songs of praise. Ki lecha tov lehodot, l'shimcha na'el lezamer, k'mei olam v'ad olam ata el, baruch ata Adonai, melech me'olam v'tishbachot. So that is our Hallel service and recitation today. I hope that it fulfilled kind of what each of us was looking for, and that for those who came to learn, I hope that you learned. For those who came to celebrate and praise, I hope you were able to do that. For those who came in a darker space or more focused on the darkness in the world, I hope it created space to feel some gratitude and light within that darkness. And we would love to open the chat once more as we close the program and just ask folks if you would like to share what you're taking away from this, or other reactions, or how this experience of saying Hallel together just now might impact the last few days of Hanukkah that we still have left. And I also thank everyone for indulging me in shepping nachas for my child.
That was certainly easy to do. The messages are coming in very quickly, but there's a lot of gratitude, I think, both to you, Rabbi, and Tal, and also for this sort of window into thanking the divine, to thanking God, and hopefully seeing this virtual community as a source of strength. So I would like to thank you all, and we will send out a recording, and we'll see if we can find you some Spotify playlists so you can continue listening and finding strength in this part of the Jewish calendar. Thank you all.
Thanks everyone for joining, and I'm frequently amazed by how we are really able to actually feel and experience community over Zoom. I'm grateful for that in this moment. And thanks to Mara and My Jewish Learning for being wonderful partners and collaborators in this.
Thank you. Chag Sameach. Bye-bye.